Welcome back to another video, guys. Today's just gonna be a locals. I know I mentioned that I was going to play Dragapult, Charizard, Pidgeot, but we're gonna be trying out the Ogre Box deck today.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
And we're gonna see what's up. The league challenge is in 2 days, and I really want to bring out this Ogre Box deck and see what it's made of, see what it's capable in this format. So, is it trolling? You know, probably, but you know, we're here to break the meta. We're here to break shit. We're here to do it different. You know what I'm saying? Do a little different out here. You know what I'm saying? So the tournament starts in like an hour. We're gonna see what this deck is made of. So before any of that, let me show you guys the deck. Let me show you guys what we're working with. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to my home cooked Ogre Box deck profile. 4 teal mask, 2 stone, 1 flame. Path to the Iron Thorns, Billy, Rad Greninja, Diancie, Mimikyu,
Sandy Bulls,
Triple Cypher Maniac, Double Boss, Double Iono, Thornton, Rocks.
Hey, stop!
Unfair Bullshit, 4 Earthen Vessel, Balls, Triple Mask, Energy Retrieval, Cooler Energy Retrieval, Double E-Switch, Canceling Cologne,
Megaphone,
1 Switch Cart, 3 Casinos, 6 Grass Energy, 2 Fighting Energy,
Hiya!
1 Psychic.
Okay, let's go.
What's the dog doing? Huh? What's the dog doing? What's the dog doing? What's the dog doing? What you doing, you know? What the fuckers?
Hello.
You want to say something to the camera, Chad? Yo, now you're quiet.
I don't want to be put in the graphic.
Now you're quiet.
Blocky slug.
Tell them to bring out the master! Don't come here.
Yo, that's crazy. Don't listen to him. So round 1, we were paired up against Hannah. So Hannah was playing just a raw Dragapult build, and this is a matchup that I've always kind of been afraid of and didn't really have a chance to practice against. As you guys know, Ogerpon is extremely fragile, and in this build you guys know that I have like no bravery charm or nothing. And 1 Phantom Dive does 200, that leaves my Ogerpon at 10 HP. Now the good side to this is that I am able to revenge kill with Hearth Flame to do like what, 400 damage in return, but that does take quite a bit of setup. And if she spreads the damage counters around, she could put 10 on each of my Ogerpons and then basically just set them up for a Phantom Dive KO every single turn. So I wasn't sure how this was going to turn out. The beginning of the turns, she went first and it seemed like she had a dead hand. I made the mistake of, well, okay, let me say this. She opened up with Pidgey and I believe 1 or 2 Dreepies, and I opened up with only Sandy Shocks. Now, I was afraid that she was going to just knock out my Sandy Shocks next turn because I didn't have anything else to put on the bench. No Nest Balls, just a bunch of energies, energy switches, and an Iono. So, you know, based on how she was playing, it didn't seem like she had anything to really play next turn, and I should have played off of that. I was just afraid that she would have top decked a card, or you know, was just setting up for something next turn. Yeah, I went for the Iono, and that pretty much helped her get set up. My mistake was trying to get a Wellspring Ogerpon play. All of her Pokemon just stayed as basics with no signs of rare candy, so I did have another turn to kind of play off of that, but couldn't get the Wellspring Ogerpon off in time. What I should have done is, while she had her Pidgey in the active spot, it was basically a sitting duck, or you know, sitting bird in this case. And I should have just gotten out 2 teal masks, load them up with energy, Earthen Vessel for a fighting energy, so that would have opened up Sandy Shocks to knock out the Pidgey. Even if she would set up Dragapult next turn, she wouldn't have a way to search out her Neo Upper Energy to attack the same turn. That way I could have forced her to dig or start manually attaching a Psychic and Fire Energy which is pretty hard for Dragapult to do, since this version of the build relies heavily on the Neo upper energy to start swinging right away and placing those damage counters. So that would have opened up Sandy Shocks to knock out the Pidgey, and if she couldn't load up the Dragapult, I could have just been taking free 90 damage on each of her Dragapults to kind of soften them up for my Ogerpons to start swinging. So that was my mistake. Eventually she was able to get set up with her Pidgeot and Neo upper energy, Phantom Dive. It hurts this deck a lot. We are very squishy. Early game, I feel like it wasn't impossible had I played it out differently, but gotta hand it to her, another talented player. We lost round 1. Are you happy for destroying me?
No. You lie! You lie! Good luck with boss last.
We're playing the exact same game. Yes, it contains boss last.
Want to say hi? It's Caitlin, guys. I think I've only won like one match out of how many times we've faced?
Twice?
No, I think it's been like maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah.
3 or 4 at this point.
Well, good luck.
Thank you. Round 2 was against Caitlin, and she was playing Charizard Pidgeot, and TLDR, double cornerstone pretty much just locked down the game for me. There was no canceling Cologne. Everything pretty much had abilities except for Charmander, and there was no way Charmander was going to keep swinging for 30 damage to take down, a 210 EX Pokemon. So, in situations like this, that we have 2 Cornerstone Masks and 2 Fighting Energy, that way we could, basically just attack with either of them if one of them gets bossed up. I didn't put down any Squawkabilly or anything like that. I had a Teal Mask in the beginning because I was able to charge it up with energy and then just search out my Ogre's Mask off of Cypher, mask change with a cornerstone from the discard pile rather than just manually attaching for 3 turns in a row. You have paths or lines in this deck where you can attach Teal Dance, mask change to pretty much have a cornerstone that could attack the following turn. That was game 2. Because of how that went, we decided to run a good casual game of Giratina and Zard. We played that out. It was a pretty good match, but then ended up losing. But yeah, that put us at 1-1. Christmas. Wow. So round 3, we were paired up against Ray, who was playing regidrago. Now, I opened up with Wellspring and Iron Thorns, swapped in Iron Thorns onto my active position. Albeit a little early, it really did slow down his game plan. Even though it stopped mine, my theory with this deck is to shut down stuff like Lugia and Regidrago, and then just like power up the Iron Thorns and then just Vault Cyclone away the energy to the Ogerpons on my bench to get them prepared for when the Iron Thorns does go down. But it was also in this moment that I did consider double Iron Thorns and 2 Electric Energy might be a possible option as a mini lockdown when it comes to Regidrago or Lugia, because it is really easy to get around it with a boss's orders if I have other Pokemon on the bench. Definitely a lot to consider, since Cornerstone Ogerpon, like running 2 of them, already provides me a lockdown against Zard decks and like Chien-Pao. Having an option to lock down other decks with a double Iron Thorn seems possible. But yeah, it stopped him from Teal Dancing. It didn't help the fact that he was digging through his deck and he couldn't really get any Dragon Pokemon in the discard pile until a couple of turns later. I'd like to give some thanks to that to Iron Thorns and also just a bit of bad luck on his side, but the game did come down pretty close and honestly was my favorite match of the tournament. I felt the potential of this deck really shine against Regidrago. The fact that it did come down to I had 3 prize cards left and he was able to finish the game on me, but I had an opportunity towards the end to saw block his Radzard or go into Cornerstone Mask to stop his Regidrago from doing damage to me, because Regidrago does have an ability. I definitely felt like I could have won the match. But then again, Ray's a really strong player. Playing Regidrago, also a really strong deck. But despite everything, I do like the fact that the match was close and I really felt the lines adding up. I found there was a lot of paths I can go in this deck, whether it be like Cypher, Pokestop and get the mask change, or an Earthen Vessel, or dump a Cornerstone, or dump a Hearth Flame into the discard pile and then mask change. Just a lot of cool fun stuff that when it lines up, it's extremely satisfying to get going. And yeah, despite the loss, definitely gives me hope on this deck that if I continue to practice it and study the meta and, you know, make some changes, that it has a chance to make its way into the scene. Maybe, who knows. But yeah, we did end up losing that round, putting us at 1-2.
We interrupt this program for an important news announcement.
D-A-L-E. It's Dale.
So for our next round, we were paired up against a Palkia Goldengo player, and this one went pretty well. I felt like I could have taken this match. Again, lots of misplays as I'm learning this deck. You know, playing these rounds and playing these different matchups, I'm learning sequencing for the deck. I'm learning what cards are good in which situations or which matchups, and this time around, it would have went pretty good had I not benched or put my Iron Thorns in the active spot. Iron Thorns was alright. It did shut off his Goldengo's ability to draw cards. It stopped his... He actually didn't get a Palkia V-Star in play, but had it been put down, Iron Thorns would have prevented it from, you know, energizing his Pokemon with energy from the discard pile. But overall, it was going alright. He was able to power up that Palkia V once he saw my Cornerstone Mask. Palkia V being his only option to knock out my Cornerstone Mask. Once I had my Cornerstone Masks in play though, he was able to catch a Canceling Cologne off of a Pokestop, which did take down the first one after he took out my Iron Thorns. And then, yeah, just a regular Palkia V to clean up the game after that. I should have tried to somehow get that or boss that Palkia V when I had the chance and maybe knock it out with a Teal Mask. I'm pretty sure that would have done enough. Either that or boss up the Palkia V and just swing with the Cornerstone Mask, because even though he would hit me for 200 damage, leaving me at 10 HP, I would have knocked it out next turn, and that would set up my Hearth Flame Mask to hit anything for 400 damage to close out the game if he couldn't knock it out with 10 HP remaining. So that was also an option. But he played around the deck really well, so can't hate on that. He did a good job. And yeah, that did put us at 1-3. So last round, we were playing against a Conkeldurr deck using the Brute Bonnet. And this thing, I didn't realize how much of a threat it was against this deck until I played it. So the gist of it is you poison the active spot with Brute Bonnet, and if Conkeldurr has a status condition, which was poison in this case, he could swing for 250 damage for free, no energy cost. And 250 damage is a lot, especially against the Ogerpons when their HP is 210 and they're worth 2 prizes a piece when you knock them out. So the prize trade definitely felt really weird and wonky in this deck. It threw me off. I wasn't sure what to focus, as his Conkeldurrs I couldn't really one-shot with a Teal Mask, because that thing doesn't use any energy to attack with as long as it's poisoned, and I need to be hitting like 170 damage at least, and the most I could probably do with Teal Mask is like 150, maybe 180 if I have an energy switch with me. But yeah, the deck threw me off. I was about to deck out, I was just confused, and that thing just came in swinging. Not much to say there other than it took me by surprise. I didn't know what to do, and yeah, just a matchup check. Yeah, at this point my brain was fried. And cool deck. It was definitely cool to see something more rogue in this tournament. Playing against meta decks is always good, you know, just to study what's going on, get some first-hand experience of the top decks. But it's always you know, it's always nice to see something more rogue in a tournament like this. But yeah, not the best of results. We ended up going 1-4, but at the end of the day, even if I miss prizing, even if I don't top, it's the experience, it's the research, it's the refinement that I'm after when it comes to using this deck. So yeah, 1-4 is our score, but we'll definitely bounce back. Alright people, we're back. And you know we got packs to open up. Now usually we get a set pack and then one prize pack, but since Series 5 is coming out and there's a lot of Series 4 extras, Cam is an absolute legend. He's like Santa Claus, and he was just giving away extra Series 4 prize packs just to get rid of them. And you know, big shout outs to Cam for that. Awesome judge, amazing person who runs the tournaments at Galaxy, so shout outs to him. And we're just gonna go through all these packs and kind of just talk about what happened. Also, the homie Quinn pulled a Heartflame Mask Ogerpon secret rare. I don't know what you call it. And he just lent it to me. He knows I've been experimenting with this Shrek box, I like to call it. And homie just hooked it up, so appreciate you, Quinn. Let's start it off with the Twilight Masquerade pack. So we ended up going 1 and 4. And honestly, since it's just a locals, I'm not too pressed about it. I did my best. I definitely made a lot of mistakes. I have practiced this iteration of the Ogre Box deck on live, so I'm not completely, you know, new to it, but it was my first time taking it to a locals, and best believe people were playing Dragapult, Regidrago, and you know, a whole bunch of other stuff. And like in that last match, I was playing against the Conkeldurr deck, and it just completely one-shot all of my Pokemon. Going into my first matchup against Hannah, who was playing Dragapult, definitely felt like I could have sequenced better and made some better decisions there. You know, again, with the first time I'm taking this deck to locals, as long as I know, the deck didn't feel like it was a complete cop-out and that I was just completely useless against these meta decks. Like, I definitely felt like I did have a chance, but a lot of key decisions that I missed really cost me the games in those situations. But I honestly like the way that it's flowing. If anything, I'm gonna change it up, and my main draw engine was with Cypher Maniac code breaking, whatever you call it, and paired it with Greninja and Pokestop. Since we do run a lot of Pokemon, Cypher Maniac can pretty much just guarantee us any 2 cards that we want, especially with Radiant Greninja. But for some reason, all 5 games... Oh yeah, that's getting thrown in a deck for sure. And a superior energy retrieval, nice. But definitely did not feel impossible. Were they tough? Yes. But with the inclusion of Iron Thorns, it was kind of a last minute decision, and I'm honestly glad that it did. The thing about this deck is that it loses super hard to Raging Bolt, and Regidrago is a tough matchup, so honestly that one copy of Iron Thorns was working wonders today. And it really, even though I didn't win against the Regidrago player, Ray, oh nice. Even though I did not win against him, Iron Thorns definitely made it feel possible. And that one of, honestly, I feel like what the deck going forward is going to stay inside this iteration or the next coming iterations of this deck, because we do have a league challenge coming up in 2 days and a league cup the day after. So back-to-back things to go to, or cups and league challenges to go to. Nice little Lost City and a nice little Artisan to end it off. I'm not sure. I was supposed to play Dragapult, Charizard, Pidgeot, but I really want to push forward with this Ogre Box deck and really try to make it work. I have faith in it. You know, call me crazy, but I'm going to try to crack the code. We'll see by the end of it. I think I'll take it to the league challenge and the cup. Call me crazy. If I want to get better results, I should be getting a meta deck and just pushing forward with that. But I like the idea of making something unconventional and something pretty unexplored in my opinion, and really taking the time to study it and see what it's truly capable of. But that's the end of the video. Definitely more tame, more chill than the last 2, but I want to thank you guys again for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next. Peace.